Alright everybody, this is just a random Greater Rift attempt that I decided to go and do. Picked a Greater Rift 47 just to show off how the build operates outside of, that single target situation. So I'm recording this after the fact, the narration after the fact. You can see already that there's kind of some weird stuff going on with the spawning of enemies. It looks like they spawn sometimes right at the door, so that's kind of problematic. Hopefully that gets changed, because I could definitely see some hardcore characters dying from slow loading times or something like that. So basically, as the build operates, I kind of just keep looking forward to see, when the elites are coming up, because that's when I'll just Falling Sword right over to them to engage them pretty aggressively. Put myself right into the middle of the fray, and you're allowed to do that since once you Falling Sword and you land on the ground, you'll get that damage reduction. So it's pretty nice. I mean, the one thing that can get kind of difficult is if you don't read what affixes they have and suddenly you get caught in a tough situation. Here you can see I just got a little too brave, and I forgot that having a lot of those fat dudes explode can do quite a bit of damage. So now we're backing off a little bit. Still playing mostly aggressive, just because I do know that that was mostly a fluke of having a bunch of them explode on me at once. So, there's nothing that's really going to do a ton of damage to you unless it all happens at the same time. Otherwise, you're just going to be taking a few paper cuts here and there, especially because we're not like super high Greater Rift just yet. So there's nothing, you can even see like backing away there from the explosions. Nothing in particular to be super afraid of on a one-on-one basis, really. So I spot that we have a channeling pylon right here, and that is somewhat helpful for the build. You can kind of just always stay in Akarat's champion with it for a limited time. You can use your Law of Valor a little bit more. You can see I'm not even doing a great job of doing it anyways, but yeah, it just allows for a little bit more damage, I suppose. I think as I get better at playing the build too, one of the things that I will have to kind of do in order to make time on the rifts and things like that is to kind of just keep moving forward, to be honest, like aggro a bunch of stuff and then Falling Sword in the middle of it, because pardon me, once you're there, like, you really just want to have a mass of stuff around you. You can see here, like, I just Falling Sworded, I guess that's the verb we're using now, right into the middle of those guys. And then you can just like kite around a little bit. So I backed into the corner, but look, I had the horse there. And actually, I didn't even want to take the horse into this rift. I was probably going to pick up a defensive skill like Iron Skin or Judgment or something. But having the horse is nice too, because then you can ride through some dangerous situations. It gives you high mobility outside of Falling Sword too. But what I was trying to say before was, because you're going to Falling Sword in and then instantly start spamming Blessed Hammer, your Falling Sword comes up almost instantaneously. So in a way, you just keep Falling Swording and you keep the damage reduction up. You can see again, we've got more Molten here. So the one thing that I do like about keeping Justice in the build, you can see there that was a bad horse ride. So then we procced again. And this is just some, some weird decisions. I haven't played Crusader in quite some time. I've been doing a lot of Barb in Season 3, a lot of DH in Season 3 as well. So just kind of getting used to, what we're capable of and what our escape routes are and things like that. But, those things are going to happen. The fact that you have multiple ways to cheat death as a Crusader anyways kind of allows you to play a bit more recklessly. So it's good for me, I guess, in this rusty application of the build, and also the fact that it is a new build too, so you still have to kind of figure out exactly how everything works. But what was I saying before that? Yeah, basically just, when you get zoned out, it's nice to have Justice as a generator, and of course you can see the way that I'm playing it. You kind of just stand and spam out the hammers, and then every now and again I'll just selectively pick an enemy to left click on and get the proc of the focus and restraint up. And it doesn't really interrupt the hammers all that much, especially because you can cast the hammer so fast with the with that passive on the weapon. on Johanna's argument. So you really just you luck into, or not really luck into, but you can elect to keep the focus and restraint up pretty much indefinitely, and it's always recharging itself on the spender side, just because the hammers keep hitting over and over and over. And here again, you can see there's kind of like zones of damage where we don't want to stand, so we can kind of stand back, spam out some hammers as we're waiting for the hammers to hit, throw some Justice out. So it's nice because Justice kind of allows us to play from range as well too, and because Justice is going to spawn those hammers for us, your Justice is essentially doing, you know, 1 billion damage with each throw when the circumstances are right. So that's a generator doing like 1 billion damage essentially, just from taking Blessed of the Haull. So I mean, it's nuts. Like I can't begin to express how impressed and how happy I am with the interaction between that seasonal belt and the generator. Just the fact that a generator is so relevant in terms of damage output, and the fact that we have another belt coming in season 4 too, that's just going to help add to more of the utility and more of the defense of this build. I think we're going to be in a really great spot. Like, I'm pretty sure this build can push maybe low 50s, 51, 52, especially with the way that the Greater Rifts were retooled. You know, the monsters don't do as much damage. The CC isn't quite as good as it used to be, but with my elections to use a lot more wrath or life per wrath spent and things like that, because the monsters don't hit as hard, you're going to be able to heal up from all the hits pretty quickly. And this is a power pylon, so you're just going to see stuff melt. Curious to see what our damage numbers will be here. Bunch of there's a 2.5 bill, 2.4. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, so I think it kind of feeds into the fact that, you know, the monsters are still doing damage, but just not quite as a chunk of damage. So having means of slowly but surely healing things up. And you can see I actually just killed that yellow mob. You might want to go back, but I killed it literally with just throwing Justice at it, which is significant. I can't express it enough. So you can see we're doing pretty well here, way ahead of the timer, and you can tell this is also the new and improved Greater Rifts, where you spend a lot more time fighting the trash. So a build like this actually works really well because you have so much AoE utility. You don't really need a ton of single target damage, just because the Greater Rift Guardian fight is a lot shorter than it used to be. And you can see those blues were up there. I was like, wait a minute, I had to go back and get those blues. These are easy pickings. And melted, just like that. So you don't need a lot of single target in this era of Greater Rifts when 2.3 does go live, but at the same time, if you can take a Greater Rift Guardian fight in like 6 seconds, then you really do have all the time in the world to make your way through the rift. It does really seem like, I haven't done a ton of rifts on the PTR, but it really does seem like you get pretty much the same, with some variability, but pretty much the same circumstances from rift to rift. So it's pretty amazing. You can see again, we were zoned out by the Molten explosions there, so I just was able to throw Justice at it and still have very high damage output. But the one thing, and you can see it on display here, is Conduit is super strong again. I don't know if it's a bug or if this is what they want to do in terms of returning Conduit to a really high level. Sorry for the dog barking. But Conduit now lasts for 30 seconds inside of Greater Rifts again. It also does really good damage again. So you can see I'm actually not going to hit it here. I want to showcase just the ridiculousness of this build's ability to do single target damage. So this is me just absolutely taking him down. I almost wanted to count the seconds. I'll have to go back and check later on, but you can see that boss pretty much went from 100 to 0, just like that. And there's something buggy on the PTR too, where you're getting you're getting credit of 2 above what you do. So that was a 47 like you saw at the start, but we got credit for 49. But that's pretty much it. That's how the build works. That's making your way through a Greater Rift, and I think it's going to just get better and better. Thanks for watching.